Greetings, lords and ladies of Westeros. Welcome. Stay a while and listen. Hot Pie cooked up something excellent, so please go get yourself a plate and join me by this Dornish fireside, and let's discuss Game of Thrones while we all survive the long night. Lady Melisandre, one of the strangest and enigmatic characters in Game of Thrones. Is she a heroine or a villain? Is she a character who operates in the gray? That would be ironic, seeing how she has such a dualistic worldview, meaning the good versus the bad. She asks Sir Davos, for example, the Onion Knight in Season 2, if he was a good man, which he retorts he's a mix of good and bad. And that is a very honest and realistic answer to have. But she responds, if an onion is black with rot, then it is a rotten onion, which she confirms good and evil are absolutes only. In this exchange, she considers herself good, a faithful servant to the Lord of Light, and doing good in the world. We know that George R.R. Martin is not a fan of blind evil and good, and likes to bring characters to a more realistic blend, such as Sir Davos. So, it's interesting, as she is the only character who has actually commented on this worldview and disagreeing with it, whereas the other characters seem to play along this gray morality. Now, let's discuss a few things surrounding Melisandre and eventually what I think she's up to. Last we saw Lady Melisandre, she was leaving Westeros to go to Volantis, stating her time of whispering in ears are over, and interesting enough, towards the end of her time in Westeros, she stopped attempting to convert people to the Lord of Light religion. What's interesting is that she tells Varys she must return to Westeros to die someday. Is that day sometime in Season 8? Will we see her return? Perhaps, I believe so. But first, let's review Volantis for a moment. Volantis is an ancient Essos city which descends from Valyria, its ruling elite claiming they have the blood of old Valyris. The nickname of the city is Firstborn of Valyria, which it also unfortunately is a massive hub for slavery and slave trade, which, by the way, many of those slaves are the followers of the Lord of Light religion. The Red Temple of Volantis is known as one of the most massive religious buildings in the world, and from my research, it is the largest Red Temple as well. The practitioners here buy slaves and accept converts, making them into priestesses, priests, prostitutes, and their soldiers. Prostitutes and soldiers, that's very curious, isn't it? Kinvara, another interesting red priestess, is from Volantis and from this temple, which, interesting enough, both officially support Daenerys Targaryen. Now, what else has themes of magic, fire, and esoteric knowledge? Valyria. The people of Valyria were masters of magic, fire-breathing dragons, and fire resistance, among other things. What destroyed Valyria? A fiery apocalypse, massive explosions of volcanoes, and a great sundering underneath the area, swallowing parts of the freehold into the sea, which is now known as the Doom. The Lord of Light religion traces itself back to Valyria, and I strongly suspect maybe there's a connection between the Doom of Valyria and this fire religion. There's too many coincidences. The themes, the stronghold in Volantis, which also claims ancestry and background to Valyria, and the use of blood magic. Blood magic. Yes, blood magic is something that's also not widely considered when you think of Valyrians. However, I believe we have visual evidence of it in use. When Daenerys attempts to kill herself and Mary Maz during a sacrificial fire ceremony when her dragons hatched, I believe, as she, Daenerys, mistakenly stumbled upon this recipe of needing life for a life for her dragons, in fact, it is perhaps a lost standard for Valyrian rituals. Now, who else uses blood magic? The Red Clergy, especially Melisandre. And most interesting how easily the Red Clergy cast their support for Daenerys, a Targaryen, a Valyrian, a living embodiment of magic fire. Does the Lord of Light religion have something to do with the Doom of Valyria? The fiery explosion which destroyed Valyria, was it a fire entity of some sort? A fire demon that they perhaps worship? Do you think I'm making this up at this point? We actually have an exchange which references a small hint to a fiery entity. Remember, when Tyrion summons Kinvara to discuss Lordalite support for Daenerys and Essos, she and Varys have an exchange where she famously quips to Varys, "Shall I tell you the name of the one who spoke?" And that's in reference to the voice from the fire that Varys heard when he was mutilated by the sorcerer. This implies to me that A, that was the Lord of Light she was referring to, or B, there is a roster of fire entities, perhaps demons, and she knows the name of the one that spoke to Varys. With all this said, it makes me wonder if perhaps the high priest and priestesses of the Lord of Light religion, the elite inner circle, like Melisandre and Kinvara, know the true purpose of the religion, to perhaps bring literal fire to the world, to feed their demonic fire lord and his otherworldly entities as well. It may make sense when you consider the actions of Melisandre, how easy it was for her to burn thousands at the stake for the sake of her god. She seems to do this to fuel her lord so he can perform magical acts in the world. The same god which she claims is good, but yet she kills many innocents for. Kinvara also comments that Daenerys' dragons will purge non-believers as well. Kind of strong language for a religion who supposedly cares about the goodness in the world, but yet is willing to commit immoral acts of killing. I, in fact, don't think the Lord of Religion is good at all, evidenced by the aforementioned and the things that Kinvara and Melisandre say. We have visual evidence as well of the so-called good and faithful servants of their Lord committing further horrific crimes. Number 1, besides lighting thousands of people on fire, Melisandre also has a knack for wanting to kill innocent nobility children, such as Shireen and Gendry for her god, both having virgin blood. Interesting to note, she asked Jon Snow if he was a virgin, where he responds no, and she says that's a good thing. I wonder why. Number 2, Melisandre making use of a shadow assassin to kill another innocent, Renly Baratheon, who was widely praised as being the next great king. Note that her necklace, which is also a glamour charm, glowed bright red when this occurred, evidence that she was channeling magic, death magic, from her red god. And number 3, that same glamour necklace hides the priestess's true age, giving a false visage to others, and uses their unnaturally good looks to seduce individuals. Using sex as a weapon. We saw it twice with Melisandre, once with Stannis and a second time with Gendry. So, with that backdrop that I believe that this religion is false and purely evil, why is Melisandre going to Volantis? I believe she is going there to rally her fellow inner elite priests and priestesses to bring them en masse to Westeros. I think the Great War against the Night King is not her end game, but rather a means to an end. The war is a perfect excuse to rally people to the Lord of Light, gaining so many more followers and sacrifices, as the Red Religion conveniently seems to be the one who can not only cast actual magic, but has taken the strongest stance against the Night King. People will undoubtedly flock to the priests and priestesses as the cataclysm draws nearer, fueling her lord with more faith and sacrifices. With that said, I also think she herself is being manipulated. There are 2 curious instances where we, for a second, get to pierce the veil of Melisandre and see her desire, when she asked both Beric and Jon what they saw when they died. Melisandre believes in this concept of a great beyond, a heaven after this hell on earth, where one can see the Lord of Light and live in a beautiful, blissful afterlife. However, both Jon and Beric Dondarrion state that there was nothing there. It was blackness, darkness, nothingness, a form of purgatory. Both times she despairs, as if being told a lifelong belief of hers was simply proven false. It's not there. I suspect that this fire demon, or demons, who have been lying to Melisandre, promising a grandiose and beautiful afterlife so she can commit these horrible acts to fuel them. and really there's nothing waiting for her on the other side. As the Great War rages and begins to climax, I believe the dark secrets of the Lord of Light religion may be revealed, and people starting to become distasteful towards the black magic and sacrifices. I think this gives a perfect opportunity for the heroes to begin to turn their attention to this insidious religion and perhaps kill Melisandre. As stated in my last video, I believe the one to do it will be Arya. Melisandre abducted Gendry before Arya, and immediately Arya realizes that the Red Woman wants to use Gendry and perhaps kill him. I don't think she would ever forgive Melisandre for that, and especially now if the Lord of Light religion is committing atrocities and using this Night King calamity as an opportunity to grow and convert. Now would be the time to finally end her and her reign of tyranny. Melisandre comments to Arya when she looks in her eyes for the first time. She says she sees many eyes looking back at her, different eye colors, especially blue eyes. And who has blue eyes? Melisandre. She also states, "Eyes shut forever, and we shall meet again." That's a bit of premonition, don't you think? Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that. That was really fun for me to make. Please like and subscribe. If you're new to this channel, please click on that little bell so you get notified. I am on a Dornish Knights quest to get 1,000 subscribers. So if you really enjoyed this and my other videos, please subscribe, as it will help me achieve my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And if you would like to support me via Patreon, I have a link down below. Hey guys, have a beautiful weekend ahead of you, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Have a great and blessed day.